There is no longer an excuse for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially after signing Saquon Barkley to a 3-year deal. Genuinely, I did not think it was going to happen where you have a division rival letting Saquon, of all people, go to the Eagles. But alas, here we are, and the Eagles offense looks absolutely unstoppable. Whether you have Smitty, whether you have A.J. Brown, whether you have Hurts and Goddard, now you have Saquon, and the Eagles have no excuses why they should not make it to the Super Bowl and win it. You have one of the most potent offenses in the league. There is no excuse. And yes, you're going to talk about the defense of the Eagles, and the Eagles just signed Huff from the Jets, and while I don't know too much about him, he apparently is a fantasy darling and a PFF darling where he is getting the pass rate wins. He is a top 3 in those categories, and honestly, for the Eagles, we need defensive backs, and that has been known. I think we actually go for a defensive back in this draft in the first or second round, and while many speculate, because Howie loves to replace the offensive line that retires with an offensive line in the draft, usually that first round, we could see Lane Johnson's position get filled by a first rounder, which I wouldn't be surprised about, but in those 2nd to 5, maybe 6 rounds, we gotta go with cornerbacks, we gotta go with more defensive backs, and we gotta go with linebackers. And the Eagles have no excuses to fill all the gaps that they need to. They still have the cap to sign Smitty, to sign Reddick. We're probably gonna trade away Sweat, which will hurt for true Eagles fans, but the team is looking up. Fletcher Cox retired. I know Jason Kelce just retired, but we have the young guys to refill those positions. We have the Jurgens, we have the Landon Dickersons, we have the Nolan Smiths. There is no reason for the Eagles why they should not be a team that returns to that glory, that returns to that Super Bowl. Am I saying that they're going to win it? No. I'm just saying they have no excuse now. And if you guys think the same, like, please comment what you guys think the Eagles are going to finish this year. But going back into it, the Eagles have been terrible on defense the last 2 years, and it has been shown with Jonathan Gannon falling apart in the Super Bowl, or we're not even going to talk about last season, right? Maybe Fangio is different. Maybe coming from Miami, he has a different type of defense where we're not allowing these accumulation of short yardage passes, these screens, these stupid little plays that we could honestly play up to. But the Eagles, the name of the game is defense, and the name of the game is winning. And for some reason, we love to stack that offense, and that defense is just lacking. I think this year in the draft, we go quarterback, we go linebackers, and we go more defensive back minded than we've ever gone before. While I do think that Howie's going to get his first round offensive lineman to fill back Lane Johnson, I still think that we go for someone in the later rounds, or we just go from 2 to 7 and just go crazy, or maybe even 2 to 5, go crazy with the defense as we should. It would be nice to see maybe CJ come back, but after the whole break-in with his Kia and him talking crap about Eagles fans while he was in Detroit, I don't think that's likely. So temper expectations if you're an Eagles fan, as I clearly am, but what it comes down to is Jalen Hurts at the end of the day. He's got to step up. He's got to show that he is the MVP, and while I do think that he is, the passing's always been that problem for him. He can run the ball, he can score, but passing, that's where it's at. And the excuses last year came from, oh, we had a new offensive coordinator, Nick Sirianni doesn't know how to call plays, Jalen Hurts is still finding his groove. No, that's not an excuse anymore. You are now 3-4 years in the offense. You have the best weapons you have ever had, a quarterback has ever had. To be honest, we're looking even at Trevor Lawrence. What is he at? The best Calvin Ridley? Zay Jones? Come on, man. We're talking about a Burrow-type offense where you have T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon. Well, he is probably going to get cut for salary reasons. You have an offense like that. An offense wins games, but defenses win championships, and that's exactly what the Eagles have lacked. And honestly, someone told me this the other day. I would love to see Saquon take a tush push. Look, like, it's funny, right? Jason Kelce is that guy behind that tush push, so it's going to be difficult to kind of replicate it. But Saquon, bro. You talking about people that squat? Everyone, hyping up Jalen Hurts to squat 600 pounds. Bro, say quad. That is his fucking name. So, the Eagles this year have no excuse to return to glory. And when you compare the Eagles to the top teams, the Packers are making moves, man. If the Packers are signing Josh Jacobs, they just dropped Aaron Jones, and you see these teams making these moves because they need to. And with the salary cap going up, there's no reason to lock up another stud, to lock up your guys for the long haul, because you know the salary cap's just going to get pushed more, and even larger year after year. And Howie has been a cap genius in that. So that's why I'm not really too concerned. But what I always fall back to is making those defensive arrangements and those assignments. And while you have Darius Slay getting older, look, it's kind of sad whenever you see a big, strong wide receiver like a DK or a Mike Evans. There's no way Slay's gonna guard that. I think he's more of a zone cornerback now, only because he's lost a step. While 3 years ago, maybe even honestly, a year and a half ago, Slay's gonna keep up step by step, and you've just seen that this past year. He's been getting hooked. So, cornerback is a huge position for the Eagles. And more specifically, going into last year, I wanted Christian Gonzalez. That was my boy. But I'm never going to say no to Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. But the Eagles have been back and forth with the controversy of Nick Sirianni. Can he lead a team? Can he actually take them to the championship and win? Let's lay it out on the floor. The Eagles, with a new head coach, has probably done more than any other head coach other than the Petersons, the Buddy Ryans, like those type of coaches. Sirianni doesn't get enough credit. And I say that because, yes, his antics are a little wild. He gets crazy on the sidelines. He gets a little cringy too many times. I understand that. The crying meme, yeah, we've all seen it. But the Eagles have been that team the past 3 years. And when you compare them to even just the NFC East, no one stops them. You want to talk about the Cowboys? No, man. Pollard just left. Who are you going to put in your running back position? You got no one. Deuce Vaughn? Watch out. Deuce Vaughn's going to really go crazy, which he might. He is kind of a low-key dog, but he's a tiny guy. And when you talk about Pollard being tiny, Deuce Vaughn's even tinier. But the Cowboys, I just don't think match up to the Eagles. Defense does. The defense is crazy. Probably one of the best defenses in the league. That's the difference that you see. If you have a defense like the Cowboys that can go far, that is great. Because your offense doesn't have to do that much work. They have to score 2 touchdowns and they win, okay? We're talking about defense. We're not talking about offense. The offense is already amazing in the Eagles. The Eagles have probably one of the most fun offenses that we've had without adding Saquon Barkley. And now they add someone that total yards, 1,200, how many times? In a Giants team that had no offensive line, that had no other threat other than an aging Kenny Golladay that left, Darren Waller that might retire, a Sterling Shepard, name them. No one else compares to Saquon on that Giants team, and now you're putting him in a better position and probably one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Dude's gonna go for 1,800. Again, you want to talk about him getting hurt? Him and DeAndre Swift, I'm pretty sure, fact check me, have missed the same amount of games in the last 4 years. So it is sad to see Swift leave because, look, as that Philly boy, he kind of ride with and honestly died with the team. But anytime you can get a Saquon, I was hyping up DeAndre Swift last year when the Eagles signed him, saying that we're going back to the Super Bowl, which we didn't. But now we get Saquon. Look, Miles Sanders did it. Miles Sanders, and I love Booby, but you saw when he went to the Panthers, he's getting beat out by Chuba. That's insane. Anybody you put in this offensive line, this running back position, they're going to go stupid. Hell, we have Kenneth Gainwell looking good some games. Like, I know Gainwell wasn't really drafted to be the RB1, but Boston Scott's going stupid. So I think the sky is the limit for the Eagles, obviously, because I'm an Eagles fan, so biased as it may be. It is facts, though. You're talking about an all-stars talent. You're talking about adding someone from your division rival that has torn you up historically. Genuinely, Saquon has killed us so many times. And now you're adding him onto the offense that has already been stacked. The only question now is, how do you feed them all? Genuinely, how do you feed the ball to A.J. Brown? How do you get it to Smitty? How do you get it to Goddard? How do you get it to Saquon? How do you get it to the GOAT, Quez Watkins? Jokes aside, there's so much opportunity in this team, and now that window is just extended for the Eagles, and they need to take advantage of it. They need to re-sign Smitty to a larger deal before he goes in that next year after that franchise tag. They need to get Reddick back on that contract and put him as an actual 3-4 linebacker, have him off the edge. He's not a guy that drops in the coverage. Why are we doing that? So the point of the video was Eagles have no reason, no excuse this year to go to the Super Bowl and then eventually win it. Make key draft decisions in that defensive category. Get a lineman, sure, whatever. Get your lineman round 1 and then rest of the draft defense. I'm cool with that. There's no excuse. No other team matches up to the Eagles other than the 49ers, obviously the Chiefs, the top 2 and top 3 of each division, of each conference. But there's no excuses anymore. There's not, oh, well, we have Bradbury. Oh, well, we only have DeAndre Swift. No. As an Eagles fan, I'm coming to grip with the Eagles being that team that has to win that Super Bowl next. No other team can do it, in my eyes. No other team can do it, and there's no excuse why the Eagles shouldn't. So if you guys watched this far, thank you guys so much. This is a different type of video I wanted to do. Not really edited too much, just kind of more of a live reaction to you guys and kind of spitting what I think. So if you guys appreciate it and you guys like these type of videos, let me know. I can crank these out like nothing. So thank you guys for watching, and as always, it's been Studs.